Get Into Geek. This is episode 128. We are talking Stargate SG-1. The full Get Into Geek team is here. My name is Mitch. Joining me, as always, Matty.
Yo.
Brendan.
Hello.
And Rhys.
Yeah, g'day, guys.
We are here to talk about one episode each and every week. Rhys is our first-time watcher. The rest of us, long-term veteran fans of Stargate. We are introducing Rhys to the show one episode at a time per podcast. This week, we are up to episode 17 of Season 6, Disclosure. Let's have some fun with this and throw it over to Rhys and see what he thought. General Hammond and the Pentagon are forced to reveal the existence of the Stargate to other world governments. Playing off fears that the US military has too much control, Senator Kinsey suggests that General Hammond be relieved of his command and that the civilian-run NID oversee the Stargate program.
Sorry for the clip show. Have no fears, we got stories for years.
Oh, God. You know what?
Kinsey's back. God damn it.
When I start writing this down, they get around the room, they're like, all right, it's been 8 years since, and I'm like, oh, cool, right, I know, it's been 8 years since the start of the movie. We're halfway through season 6. We've had, so therefore, 5.5 seasons worth of story, and relatively every season takes, give or take a year kind of thing. The series started a year after the events of the movie. Cool, 8 years, good timeline, great. Clip show is my next note. And then I pretty much stop writing notes. I scribble out Disclosure and I write Politics 2.0.
Absolutely.
Hey, whoa. At least Politics had SG-1 in it. This episode didn't even have any fresh SG-1.
I actually kind of liked that it was a Hammond episode, just telling everyone to go and
I got to tell you, I actually thought that at the time. This is probably my favourite clip show episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, Thor had a big part to do with that.
Absolutely.
The editing
But
is a massive payoff.
When they come in and Hammond's like, yeah, sit down, gentlemen, got something to tell you. I'm like, oh shit, Stargate's going worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide!
Stargate Worldwide.
Yeah, and then same. My next note, fucking clip show.
Yeah. It was good to see some like Hammond and Davis just doing what they do.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that.
And the Kinsey Hammond back and forth.
Yes.
I mean, that pissed me off because Kinsey obviously brought Hammond in there just to have a go at him in front of the. But then I was like, they wouldn't do that in front of other officials from other countries. Like have a fight amongst themselves. I would have liked one of the either the French or the Chinese ambassador to be like, well, why would we let you be in charge of it when you can't even, you're fighting amongst yourselves? Why,
It was very restrained compared to Politics. Like Politics, like he and Jack were just like screaming at each other, which I really love. So they were having a little bit of decorum there. But yeah, for like the other three countries sitting there, it would have been a little bit fucking these little bitches just like crying at each other.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 6.3 rating for Politics on IMDb, 6.8 for Disclosure. So the fans have spoken.
That's Thor. That's Thor. Imagine if Thor.
right.
Imagine if Thor had beamed in at the end of Politics. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're right.
That would have been gold.
And
Apparently the finger moment, where Thor holds up his finger.
Supreme.
The Asgard finger, I've called it in my notes. Like, that was brilliant.
That was all on the day. That was completely the director.
Really?
And he's got fingernails. We've just seen
Webbed fingers.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
That was an odd
Might need a little
bit
bit of a manicure there, Thor.
A little bit of trivia. So this episode was actually a complete second unit production. So while SG-1 and the first unit were all off doing next week's episode Forsaken, the second unit was just doing this little self-contained one, trying to save up a little bit of money to put towards the finale at the end of the season.
See, and I think Joe and Paul, who wrote this, Joe Malozzi, Paul Mully, I feel like they're getting a little bit lazy. I think they're just kind of kicking around, we did a few Earthbound episodes, and now it's like, Brad Wright apparently said, we're doing a clip show, and these two just jumped at it.
Yeah.
Because great, I only have to write 28 minutes of dialogue instead of 42. So
you're telling us we can run
win.
an Earthbound episode that's also an off-world episode?
And how's this? If something you wrote appears in a clip show, you get paid extra for it. So Joe and Paul deliberately wrote the episode to feature all of their clips, so they got extra pay.
Wow.
And then Brad Wright spotted it and went, and dropped in some other episodes that weren't theirs.
I was going to say, because in the audio commentary, Joe Malozzi says, we just decided to put all the best CG moments in. I'm like, right.
Sure,
buddy.
From our episodes.
Now, before we go much further, guys, the segment's back.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God, which one's it going to be now?
Obviously.
The sounds of Stargate.
Get that into your ear holes. So this week,
Whether you like it or not.
Your next door neighbours will get that in there.
Yeah.
So the best thing about this episode, obviously, is we get a nice visitor at the end of this episode, aka Thor. So this song that I'm about to play is called The Visitor.
Oh, that's a stretch, mate.
I know it's
your segment. I know it's your segment, but come on, mate.
No.
That's a bit of a stretch.
And with their second appearance on Get Into Geek, please welcome back the legendary German band, Wizard. Now, my kids have been singing that all week. That's been blasting through their house.
That's how you parent.
That is excellent.
Yeah,
Hey, a
big
little
time.
bit of across the universe for that. There's a great episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine called The Visitor.
Oh,
Season
Jesus.
4.
We're early.
That's one for you, Damo Edwards.
Absolutely.
And actually, the episode of Star Trek that I would play for Mitch if I
that's
ever wanted him to
Jesus
watch.
Christ, mate, watch
Just
it.
continuing my sentence.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez, box of shame then. Clip show, another clip show.
I did like a little bit of the in-world continuity in the fact that the US, Russia, France, China, and the UK, all the members present, is the actual real-world UN Security Council. So there are 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, which are those 5 countries, and then there's another 10 or 15, I believe, that kind of rotate through the UN Security Council. So that's why they chose those 3 countries to...
I think my favourite quote from the Chinese guy is, "The People's Republic of China do not believe in lying to their people."
All right. I was waiting for someone to laugh in that scene.
Yeah, totally. Although I do like the French. The French guy said something in particular, speaking about the all 5 nations.
What do you suggest?
We could move the gate to a neutral location and create a permanent staff drawn from all 5 nations.
I'm afraid we can't agree to that.
To me, that makes perfect
Makes
sense.
total sense.
And that's pretty much what Atlantis is, more or less. It's a neutral base. It's off-world, but there's a whole bunch of whatever. You'll forget. But I reckon that should be the next series, is a neutral base with a bunch of everybody around.
Yeah.
And just doing heaps
Down to
of cool shit.
Antarctica. Just take it down to Antarctica. That's new.
Yeah,
That's a
where
big
would
trip,
you put it?
though. That's a big trip.
Where would you put it?
Oh, mate, couple of ring platforms.
Switzerland, mate.
Mate, Uluru.
Switzerland, perfect,
Yeah.
made
How
for
is
it.
Switzerland any different to Antarctica?
Neutral, bro.
Yeah, always neutral.
Yeah, but they're not one of the big 5.
That's
Yeah.
that's what makes them perfect.
You could put it-
no say in it.
That's neutral.
You
Nah,
could-
put it in Australia.
We'll have it.
So Kinsey's trying to obviously manipulate it so it's NID gets control of the gate. I would have thought straight away NID is a compromised a group.
It
whatever
is,
you call
but
it.
Kinsey is now part of the NID Oversight Committee. So he's moved from being the chairman of appropriations that he was in season 1. He's now part of a group that oversees the NID. So if he gives control of the Stargate program to the NID, he's essentially in charge of the Stargate
I get that,
program.
but what I'm saying is that why would anyone agree to it? Because anyone would see the NID as being compromised. So even though Kinsey may be in charge of it, they'd go, well, we can't risk giving it the Stargate to the NID because they have been compromised, and until we're sure there's no leaks in the boat, we're not going to give it to the NID.
I think Kinsey's point was the NID was corrupt because his oversight committee wasn't there watching them, making sure they...
Gotta love the Germans.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
though.
Wizard.
Wizard. They are great.
What year was that released? It's got a very 70s vibe to it.
I didn't check that out.
Oh, okay.
I think we did miss...
Right now, it's re-released today.
It went number 1 in the galaxy.
Big time.
When you said that about politics, like you had that Jack and Kinsey great back and forth, just yelling at each other. I really missed him at the end where we did get that reveal that Kinsey's got a little bit of a stake in this. That he's now got control over the NID. And then Hammond's like, oh, yeah, I've got an idea. And it didn't really, the payoff with Thor didn't really have anything to do with that. It was just like, okay, I'm just going to pull out the big guns. Whereas I feel if you have Jack in that scene, he says to the rest of the Security Council, you only want the NID in control because you now run the NID, so you would have control over it. And then you'd have mainly the Chinese guy, and then eventually that little British wimp would have stopped, like, sulking in his seat. Because, like, really, I think the audience was supposed to be driven by that guy's reactions the entire episode without him, like... Every time they said something amazing,
Quivering.
we don't really know how we're supposed to feel because we know everything they're telling them. But I just feel like you need a Jack that, like, it was great Thor showing up going, no, hey, George, I got your back, bro. Like, he's my man. You know what?
Epic.
It was amazing.
It was
like, just like comes in from the other side of the galaxy, basically, because he can do that. But I just feel like you really missed that moment of having Jack there to tell the audience what we're feeling. Because the main thing that pisses me off about these conversations with Kinsey, as much as I love him and what a foil he is for the SGC. I am you're right with it. Sorry.
Real close together.
God, it's so close to getting there. Oh, wow.
I think Mitch is going to work. He's going to start using that for when Mitch rambles on at work. They'll just start flagging that to shut him up.
I'll never shut up. Oh, the mic's off. I don't have control. Is that Kinsey will say something and there's an obvious thing to rebut against him. Like he might say, "Oh, and your killing of Ra, for instance, means that another Gould, took control."
Yeah.
Which he goes, "That's your fault now." Whereas then you know what? Because you instigated, a war with the Gould, we should have just shut off the planet. Everything would have been fixed if you would have turned off the Stargate.
Yeah.
And they don't sit there and go, "Well, it would have happened anyway." They just go, "Okay, well, we've got to think of another argument." I'm like, there's such an easy rebuttal argument against what he's just said, but they need the story to go a certain way so they don't write the obvious part.
It's a catch-22. It's like, oh, okay, well, if you hadn't have killed... because you killed Ra, we're now a target. If you hadn't have killed Ra, he would have come to the planet and tried to kill us, and it would have been your fault anyway. So it's like either way, it was going to be their fault.
And then their defense, they do
but it
say
wasn't
that
SG1 weren't on them, didn't kill Ra. Sure, it was Jack O'Neill, but it wasn't like the current setup.
That was just still
setup.
Or even
the
like
SGC
you killed
out of Cheyenne
Well,
Mountain.
I don't know. I think it was a one-off military excursion. I don't think it was where the SGC.
It was the US Air Force in Cheyenne Mountain.
Well, it was more so...
sure, but they weren't the
Oh.
Stargate Command as we know it.
Oh, I'm
it was
saying
a year
the
later.
Ra thing was just an
established.
example. They probably more so. I think they actually did specifically mean Apophis, and now Anubis is the much greater, more dangerous threat. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, you shouldn't have killed that bad guy who was going to enslave us because now a bigger bad guy's going to come and enslave us.
But that's what pissed me off is that Kinsey got angry at Hammond for that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, whether he killed Apophis or not, Anubis was going to come back. Whenever he was ready. With his all powerful shit. I mean, obviously, it was great that they killed Apophis for Earth's sake, not for my sake.
Yeah, I was going to say that must have hurt his sake.
He's coming
I'm
back.
like, do I follow through with this? Or is he? He's not dead. But it's good that they...
We never said, and we never see him again.
It's good that they think Apophis is dead, but...
He's not.
Yeah, but Anubis was going to come back either way. So the fact that Kinsey got angry at Hammond just pissed me off.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
just
Hammond's
that's
fault.
just Kinsey all over
It just strikes me like rather than the characters and what they would naturally want to say for who they are and who we've got to know them as for 5.5 seasons, rather than the characters driving the story, it's the writers. Like, well, we need you to not argue a valid point yet.
Yeah.
Well, actually, in fact, we don't need you to do it at all because we've got this fucking kick-ass moment where Thor shows up and sticks his finger up Kinsey's ass.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you want Hammond to stand up and go, look, the reason there's always a more powerful Gould is because we're living inside of Kinsey.
Too close together,
You're on
mate.
fire, mate.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I just figured it had to, because this episode is so dull. I just had to spice it as much as I could.
If you really want to enjoy this episode, flick on the audio commentary and enjoy the sexual audio velvet that is one Don S. Davis.
Oh, God,
doing his first audio
that was
commentary.
so good.
That's down where I'm from. I used to carve cigar store Indians that were sold
I used to carve them up.
at Silver Dollar City, right outside of Branson, Missouri.
He should work in radio.
Well, he's dead.
God.
9 hards right there.
Should have worked in radio. Oh, my God.
Can you imagine if he'd done
my
some
God.
audiobooks?
Yeah, you should have done all of Morgan Freeman's voiceovers.
Right? You could have made it.
And in this voiceover, Morgan Freeman will be voiced by Don S. Davis.
And then he changes it up and gives you some energy straight after that.
Oh, the asteroid episode, Don?
Yes.
It was called, what was it called again?
You're right.
Slipping my mind.
That's what it was.
We only wrote it. It was called, that's right, Don. It was called Failsafe. You're right.
Failsafe. By golly. You know, this is a great show.
Should try watching it sometime.
I'm going to.
I'm going to.
He sounds like George Takei in that. Oh my, I'm going to.
Golly.
Oh, Jesus, that's too, Matty.
No, why?
Because he's a Star Trek guy.
Yeah, I didn't say that though. You did.
Well, you know him from Star Trek.
Actually, I know him from The Simpsons before I knew him from Star Trek.
And in fairness, I think George Takei transcends Star Trek. I
Thank you
think
very much,
he's
sir.
an entity all upon himself.
Boom.
Unto himself.
Do you know what I thought was odd though? And this is just the political intrigue movie nerd in me. Where was like the American ambassador talking? Like if it's a we're trying to negotiate with other countries. Why was it a general and his attaché doing it? Where was the Secretary of State? Or
have we met someone who that would have been? Right.
No, and I think this was purely just so that we could have something for Davis and Hammond to do. But you'd think they'd have the American ambassador or the Secretary of State, who is America's chief negotiator.
Well, weren't they all like military ambassadors?
No, that was just the French ambassador to the United States, the Chinese ambassador to the United States. There's only one ambassador.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, but it gave Davis and Hammond something to do.
But if we can talk about bloody Thor coming down. When Hammond said, "Oh, I've got an ace up my sleeve," and then he said his little speech, "Oh yeah, we've made allies and blah blah blah," and then everyone's gone, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll take it into account," and I'm like, "That's your ace," and then. And boom, straight in the middle of the room, and I'm just like, yes, this is what he needs. This is so good.
That's all
and he comes down and basically said, "Look, I know what I'm like. I imagine being there and being like the bloody UK fella sitting there, and he's like so gobsmacked. He's like, hello, like if an alien comes down and says, look." General Hammond, we love him.
Sitting in his majestic throne.
We are friends. I know, and just the actual capacity of your brain, like trying to comprehend exactly what's happening. Mm-hmm. Like you don't even believe that the fact that they've got a Stargate, and then an alien out of nowhere just appears and tells you,
it looks like a Roswell Grey.
Yeah. Hey, I know you've never seen me before, but I'm friends with Hammond, and you should leave him in there because we'd prefer that.
We barbecue together.
No worries, man. Yeah. And he
throws the tofu dog on the barbecue. I throw a yellow one on the barbecue, and we just hang out.
And then he says to Kinsey, like, I could you off to a faraway planet because O'Neill said, O'Neill that Hammond's been talking about, how fucking cool he is.
But I
fucking love him as well,
joking.
but I think he's joking. So you're safe, but be careful.
Yeah, because I don't quite understand humans, so I may actually take you away.
And then just throws him shade with the Supreme Commander, like shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down.
And then he casually throws in the middle, oh yeah, I just happened to be in the neighborhood. I didn't make a special trip. I just happened to be in the neighborhood because I'm putting Asgard design shields and weapons on the Prometheus.
Oh, did I mention that because of our great friendship with the SGC and General Hammond, I'm just giving you some alien technology that'll help you out by, 10, 20 years, but don't mind me.
Yeah, you know that conversation that you've been having about the primary mission to get weapons and shields? Yeah. Here it is.
Going forward, though, we don't see any Asgard weapons on the Prometheus for a long time, though. We see some Asgard shields, I believe, but for the next couple of times we see the Prometheus, it's just got human weapons.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe they had a few.
They had to order it in.
Yeah, they were out of parts or something.
Coming from a few galaxies away.
Integration problem.
We had a female port, and they had a female port, so there's no way to connect them in. Yeah. They're like, we need to create a whole new USB
because they don't procreate, like we do.
That's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all.
They're like, where do we plug in our little glowy white rocks? Where do they go? And we're like, we don't have an adapter for that.
So I couldn't help thinking, because this episode was so boring, I couldn't help thinking, what if Thor did come to Earth and met the German band Wizard, and they've just gone, please take us with you, Thor. You're our savior. And he's like, yeah, you can be my royal choir.
Though I will admit Senator Kinsey's proposal is interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
I am Thor!
That's how it should have gone.
Hello, I am Thor.
The mighty God!
Supreme Commander of the Asgard Fleet.
Thank you for coming, Thor.
It is my pleasure, General Hammond.
Commander Thor, my name is...
Senator Kinsey. O'Neill suggested I send you to a distant planet for your actions here. But I am reasonably certain his statement was in jest.
I'm sure it was, Commander.
Supreme. Commander. It is the opinion of the Asgard High Council that Stargate Command should be left in the very capable hands of General Hammond and his team. And while our continued friendship with Earth is not contingent on that, it is preferred.
Now build a fire!
You came all this way just to tell us that?
And to install Asgard-designed shields and weapons on Prometheus. A small token of thanks for SG-1's recent efforts in securing our galaxy and yours from certain destruction.
Our feast, it shall be warm.
I see.
I hope I've been successful in convincing you.
Just chilling there, Bob.
Good day, General Hammond.
Always a pleasure, Thor. Please drop in any time.
I love that bit.
That settles it then. You have our support, General.
Thank you, Ambassador.
I just like to think that
I'll
Thor
pay
was...
that.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
that was really good.
It's funny because when I watched that, I actually rewound the whole Thor part.
Yeah,
and it was
so good.
it was even as good the second time, and even just listening to that, it was still just epic. As when I first
Do you know why?
watched it.
It's just good to have Michael Shanks back, isn't it?
Yes,
Just doing that
Shanksy
voice.
again.
Oh yeah, when you don't
So
see him,
true.
it's fine.
Thor then reminded me, is like he's got Maddie with your little hotkeys in your phone. You do the siren, a few sound effects. It's like Thor every time he said something cool, was just, I am Thor! Just like hitting it on his little control pad.
He's got wizard lies standing around him.
No,
doing it a cappella.
the giant headrest on his chair are just speakers. No one's confused about that.
And then he just gives like a half head turn around when he says something cool, and then Wizard just jump in. I am Thor.
They beam up as well. And I love that he didn't go all out and say, if they're not in charge of the Stargate, we're not going to be friends with you. We're not going to protect you. Because then they could have called bullshit. It's like, what, you're going to let us die because
Yeah, it
we're
wasn't
going to
an
swap
ultimatum.
It was like, you could do it, but we prefer it this way. It was just like a little undercut there. It's like, you can do what you want.
Not
just know
contingent
it's-
on that,
Yeah,
but
we might
it is preferred.
We might just not answer the phone next time you call. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
That's
they do
all I'm
that to
saying.
us now.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
when we
it,
actually
yeah.
need the Asgard, they're never f***ing around.
We actually named a ship after that guy.
And like the finger's great when he holds up and corrects Kinsey.
Mate,
but
we
I
all
just
love a
thought-
finger.
Oh, God,
It was such a great like directorial choice, I think, from William Garrity that the finger was in the foreground. Like that was the shot was Kinsey, and then the focus pulls to just the finger, just the arm of the finger, and then he drops it down ever so slowly. Goes back to Kinsey, who's staring at the finger, like below the screen. I just thought that you could have had him from the other side of the room hold up his finger, or a close up on his face and hold it. But the fact that you only saw the finger, it's like this is all you need to see right now.
I wonder
It's
if-
Kinsey, and then that cover him in the shot. It was,
I wonder
it
if
looked
he
so
sort of
good.
picked it up on the day as they may be doing a run through, and it's like that's what Senator Kinsey was doing in the moment, and he sort of come up with it and said, "Oh, I'm going to get Thor to put his finger up as well." So.
Because I feel like Ronnie Cox kind of did that one secondly. And I like for me, when he says Commander the first time, I'm like, it's Supreme Commander. And then he corrects him the second time when he says Commander. So I'm like, yes, pay off.
Yeah.
And the other great moment in that was when Thor said, all right, I'll see you later, General Hammond. He's like, always a pleasure, Thor. It's like so casual.
Drop
He's
in
like,
any time.
It's like,
Have a
That's my favorite
barbecue
bit.
next weekend. Be sure to stop by.
like you called him Commander and got corrected to Supreme Commander. I'm just calling him Thor, and he is so okay with it.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Thor, are you still showing up to my grandchildren's birthday party next week?
If Peter DeLuise had directed this, he would have been calling him T-Dog for short or something.
Thanks, T-Dog.
But like, while it's a cool moment for us to have Thor show up because we know who Thor is, we've seen all the cool shit that he's done. We know what a great moment it is for him to be able to show up. Do you think that the sudden change and turnaround, even in what he said, was earned for the other 4 or 5 council members in the room? Because at least if you go back and watch that show and don't see the clips, they don't get clips of the show. They just watch. Occasionally they'll have a blueprint of a ship or like a rough picture of Daniel Jackson. But you go back and watch that and it's just dialogue. Them going, oh, then these great guys have done this for us and they've done this for us. Like they're saying SG-1 have saved the world 9 times. Kinsey goes, yeah, well, they're a bunch of fuckwits though. Who cares? They go, oh, these Asgardians are great. And they're like, yeah, well, who cares? We don't need them. Then he shows up. They've never seen him before. They don't respect in the same way everyone else does because they've only heard about him 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It was just such a quick turnaround. And I think it's believable for us because we've been watching it for 5.5 years.
Well, for
but
me,
do you think the people in the room, that change, that turnaround, that immediate respect and trust in the Asgard and
for
SGC
me, the
was
key
earned?
moment was Thor saying, while it is not we don't insist upon the SGC being in charge, we would prefer it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
To me, that's the key, because if Thor rocked in and was like, we're only going to be pals with you if the SGC's in command, as an ambassador, I would think, so suddenly we're being strong-armed by the US military and aliens. We are now slaves to these aliens.
Yeah.
But while Thor was very calm and simply said, not that Thor shows much emotion, but to them the fact that you say, look, if you guys do you, whatever you want to do, you do you, but we like these guys.
Yeah.
You make up your own decision. To me, that's the moment that bought it for me.
Okay.
And I feel like they would have seen that as like a safety net or like a protection from the guy world. Seeing a random alien just appear in front of you going, holy shit, these guys are obviously that much technologically more advanced than we are. Look, if that's what you want, we'll keep you happy as long as we're mates, as long as you
and the
keep
fact that they've
protecting
said
us.
you guys are so advanced, yet we owe you a favour. You've come here to do a favour for us because we owe you, because the SGC, you owe
Saved
them for
our
what
asses.
they've done. Okay, then that trumps everything that.
And I can't help but feel like there's that overbearing. Like, okay, this is obviously real. We have no idea what's going on here. Obviously, America knows. Hammond knows, and he's got a great relationship with them. Let's just, for now at least, just let them just keep going, and we'll find out more about it.
Yeah, not to mention the Russians are cool with it as well.
Yeah,
So
right.
Okay.
What if those two agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over aliens and technology.
I just loved it how he came in on cue, Thor.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did that happen? Did Hammond have like a radio where he clicked it twice?
Thor would have been watching.
He's been watching, listening.
Would he be though? Would he be that interested in their politics?
He's
He'd be
actually
like,
in the next
these
room.
humans.
Yeah, well, big.
No, he'd just be watching.
in the next
going,
room, in the green room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he first beamed in there, and he's just waiting.
Hammond would have teed it up because earlier on he said, I'm going to go get my ace in this up my sleeve.
Ace up my sleeve.
So he's gone and contacted Thor and said, this is what's happened. I need you to beam in at this point.
And then Thor would have just
I
been...
had it on 1.75 speed just to hurry up and get through. So I probably
just put the
skipped
subtitles
that.
on, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thor would have been sitting up there watching, just going, not caring about what they're saying, just be like, I'm waiting for the perfect time to go in and just blow their minds.
Right when they go, Kenzie's plans out here. Now! Kenzie's got a great idea. Boom. Bring in Thor.
It was just great to see Thor visit our world.
Oh, God,
yeah.
So it's time for Around the World. Time to find out what this episode was called in other languages. And we've got an interesting one this week, guys. So first we go to the French. Secret guitar.
Secret guitar.
Secret guitar, that's,
Secret sitar.
State secret, like a coup d'etat, but a
Coup
secret
d'etat.
d'etat.
I thought they were going to be talking about Wizard hiding in the background playing on cue.
Oh, you can't hide that guitar. No secret about that.
Yeah, that's on fire, that guitar.
Yeah, that's that one from Mad Max.
Yeah.
So it's just like just a flamethrower coming out the end of it.
Greatest guitar player in movie history, yep.
Then we go to Italy. Yeah, ha, woohoo! Now, this is where it gets interesting.
Colosseum.
Pizza? Was it a pizza?
Rivelazioni.
Carbonaro.
Ravioli.
Rivelazioni. Revelations, which is the name of the last episode of season 5.
So what was that one called?
Revelations.
Idiot.
So they've called this
hell?
episode Revelations as well.
Like we called it Politics 2.
2.0, yeah.
Politics 2.
Revelations
2 could have been good.
Because there's definitely not another word in the thesaurus for revelations.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Revelations entree.
there is another word if you
Good
head
word.
over to...
Yes.
I mean, that's French, but...
there is another word for it if you jump over to Spain.
Oh, Bulls.
Revolucion.
Oh, revolution.
Revelation again.
Bullshit.
Revelation. They called it Revelation, and again they called Revelation to the end.
Why
of
not
season
just
one.
call it
Revelation.
cool stuff they find out? Like revelations. It's like we
Yeah.
already used a nice word for it 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Oh, God. Lazy.
So we head over to the Czech.
Library. They got a cool library in Czech.
Prozrazenie Tajimelzvi.
Brendan?
Beer.
Secrets revealed.
Secrets revealed.
Yeah.
Then we go to Hungary.
Big burger.
Oh, the big burg.
Close. Bismeres.
Oh, bistro.
Disclosure.
Get to the
Why
bistro.
is it always food with you guys?
I'm just naming things
Cuisines.
in the countries that you're doing.
And I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said hungry, I don't mean they had good burgers.
You said
I
hungry.
If I'm hungry, I'll have a good burger.
And we finish it off with the German.
Nazis.
Wait for it.
And too long.
I'm too long.
And that's around the world.
Well done. Well done.
It's time for the Get Into Geek Hairy Mailbag.
I got hit up on the old Instagrams
Oh, yeah.
from Kosher Leviathan.
What was this, a DM?
DM slipped right into my DMs. Oh, jeez, it felt good.
Yeah.
Because he says, long-time listener to Get Into Gate here. I'm Mike Dean from Facebook and Montme from YouTube.
Sure did.
My name is Mike Montross, and he's got a lot of pseudonyms, this suspect.
Big Tross dog, the albatross.
Yeah. And I'm going to start watching Star Trek and need your input as I trust your expertise.
Oh,
You don't
Jesus.
need
That's
his
one,
input.
Mike.
All I have seen is the original series and some of Next Generation.
Okay.
What should I start with?
We'll start with Google,
You
Mike.
started with the right order. So with Google, Mike. You could easily start there.
So
Wait for a reply on the podcast.
Yeah, so I slipped into his DMs and set him up, so he's good to go. So it's just another gate listener.
Yeah,
I mean,
but did you really need to send him a dick pic, Matty? That's the real question.
That's how you get into Star Trek, mate. Right there.
Absolutely.
I'll show you some aliens.
God, yeah.
Trick this, Mike.
Got a tweet here from Tate Myers, at Tate Myers.
Tater.
Big Tatey. Scrote the taint. Hey, at Get Into Gate, I don't know. Loving the podcast so far, playing catch-ups. So I'm only to the episode 81, but have a great laugh listening along. Real giant wrench energy. Keep it up. With a gif of Silo here, which I haven't seen that gif before.
No.
That looks fantastic.
Is it a GIF?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a picture initially, and I'm like, that's
No,
good.
it's a
but
GIF.
a GIF.
What's he doing in the
actually
GIF?
Done it.
He's just got his massive wrench in his hand
he does.
with some gloves on, obviously, because you don't want to get messy.
Oh, you don't want wrench hands.
Episode 81, Chain Reaction.
Oh. Yeah, but where do you get the GIF from? Did you find the GIF?
On Facebook.
Because I want to use it.
Possibly episode 81, Chain Reaction.
But it's a GIF, mate.
Yeah.
Like on Twitter. So
I know.
Maybe Tate created
Anyway.
it himself.
Yeah.
I hope he did.
That's a
Good
thing.
work,
That'd
Tate.
be excellent. Thanks, Tato.
Big Mike Myers fan.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully.
I do have here on my notes for Chain Reaction, in recurring, I have wrench pick. So
Wrench pick.
So I had a picture of Sila holding the wrench from Chain Reaction, so he's possibly taken that.
It's a GIF.
Yeah, you can create GIFs. How do you think GIFs get created, mate? People create
The
them.
internet does it.
Like Twitter people do it.
You mean like this person on Twitter who sent us a GIF?
Tato.
Yeah.
Now, after...
Giving Tate a fair rap there, saying that he created that GIF. I mean, I hope he did.
He did. It's
And if
pretty easy
Oh,
to do.
don't assume his
And
gender,
if you
mate.
did it,
Did it the other day.
send
to
it
be
on
honest.
through, mate.
Just don't assume his gender.
I know we mentioned Tate Myers. He did send us through a thing that I really responded to because it took me back to about 13 years ago. He said, Get Into Gate, I'm not convinced that this isn't Baal moonlighting as a dealer in Casino Royale. Now, I know this is an audio medium. He sent us a shot. Now, if you're familiar with the James Bond movie Casino Royale, a lot of it takes place around a giant card game, and the dealer looks a shit ton like Cliff Simon. And I remember going to watch Casino Royale. I'm a massive Bond fan. You know, they've sort of rebooted the franchise, a new Bond. I'm so into it, so invested. This took me out of the movie for a good hour because they kept
believe it.
They kept flashing back to this guy who I'm like, please say something like, you know, Tauri or something in there because and talk about going to the casino Korpork or something because I'm not convinced that you are not the actor who played Baal.
Are you sure you want to bet your hatak on this, sir?
I don't see it.
That's a lot of Asgardian credits. You don't see it? Are
Nah.
you cracking jokes?
I think you guys are goatiest. I think that's what that is.
No, you got to watch the movie,
Make
mate.
up
But as,
words.
Yeah,
as,
that might
as,
help.
as
See it in-
you're
see it in
famous,
motion. See it
that
in motion
you
might
have
actually
never
help.
finished
You
the
might want to watch the movie.
because you famously never finished a James Bond film.
Has he even finished a film?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to discuss that.
Too busy watching DC bloody TV shows.
What's the one where he gets
put Arrow away and watch a Bond movie for fuck's sake, honey.
Get some culture up here.
What's the one where he gets the rope in the nutsack?
That's this one.
That's this one.
I've seen the nutsack scene, so I might have seen that whole.
That was on Pornhub.
How do you do that?
You have,
mate. You.
I didn't know that there was a nutsack scene in it. If anything, I'd watch it for him coming out of the ocean.
We played that on air a couple of weeks ago, and it sounds like pornography when you don't watch it but only listen to it because it's just whack. I go, yes, right there. I've got an itch. Yeah, it's like, this is porn. This is great.
I
think that's my favourite Bond or Skyfall.
Both are great.
I've got some Buffy vision I've got to show you that I've recorded with the TV. It's my entire knowledge of Bond, and it's three nerds just arguing about who was the better Bond. It's hang on. Incoming traveller, defence stations, guys.
Look out.
Can you hold on? I'm in the toilet.
Howdy, boys. Damien Edwards here.
Oh,
just
Damo!
I touch base with you. It's
Up
been
the
quite a
Broncos,
while
buddy.
since I've dropped in. Anyway,
Damo
I've
playing
probably
SG1
touched base with a few of yours by DMs, but just thought I'd send one to the podcast.
Legend.
Anyway, I've moved house since I last spoke to you. I've moved from my tiny village of Pilliga to a bigger town of Weewa.
Oh, Weewa.
Closer to work and all that sort of fun.
Another great Australian town.
Yay.
Beerwa, Weewa.
Get to work on time and better still, home earlier.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Happy days.
Anyway,
fit more bourbons in, if you know what I'm saying.
with the move, first thing I
Rumbos.
made try and pack was our DVDs, the TV, so SG1. The unfortunate thing was the episode was Paradise Lost. Shit. I do love me some Jack and Mayborn. Far out, I hate this episode. Just dragged and dragged. I hate it. Anyway, apart from that, I've been watching a bit of Star Trek, Matty, as you know.
Oh,
King
God.
that's fun,
You're going
Fast
so well.
forward
Hang on a
this
second.
Voyager just started. Not too bad, loving it.
It's my boy Blue.
It's actually bloody 1:30 on a Monday morning on the public holiday, long weekend, so
Attaboy.
yeah, I'm still up. Rumbo's going down.
You boy.
Well, Mitch, I know I just listened to your podcast of Paradise Lost and why you missed a week, but and how I had a drama that week. Yes, I was doing a re-listen, of your podcast, which I love, which was the third time I've listened all the way through from start to finish.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Back from season 1, episode 1.
Almost beating Rhys.
Get a loft, mate.
First time I've done that GIF that I put on Twitter. First time I've ever done a GIF at all.
Oh, welcome to
Hashtag blame Mitch.
Blame Mitch.
Anyway,
You're welcome for that.
some Rumbos, Gibsons, more podcasts. 2 in a week was freaking awesome, but more would be awesome. Anyway,
Yeah, mate.
back to my Rumbos, and the only thing I've got left to say is get
You know what?
Brilliant. You can tell that his kids are asleep.
Yeah.
I like to
quiet.
think that between the get and the he's just put his head back to check his
Yeah,
missus
yeah,
wasn't around the
sure.
corner. Yeah, she's not there.
You know what? Until I see them in the same room, I'm not convinced that Damien is not Brendan blacking out from being drunk and waking up as a different character, a la low pitch / me, myself, and Irene.
When Brendan blacks out, he lives in Weewa.
He wakes up where the is
Google all these weird places in New South Wales. I moved from Pilliga to Weewa.
Broncos. The
I think he could be your soulmate,
Hey, I
Brendan.
can't deny that either.
He could be your
out, and all of a sudden
soulmate.
I'm going for the Broncos.
Like, that's the ultimate. Like, Mitch, I was so pissed off at you, you made me gif.
And I'm actually not, because that gif was excellent. I wish I knew how to do what you just did. That was fantastic.
What was that gif?
The Blame Mitch. It was just Daniel jumping around
yes.
having a
And
tansy.
see,
that.
Damien made a GIF.
Yeah.
Can't
What do you
be
mean?
that.
What are you trying to say?
You said you don't know how to make GIFs. Damien
Yeah.
just made a GIF.
What do you mean
See?
by that?
He
I
sent
mean, anyone can make a GIF.
Oh, I wouldn't have said that.
it. Wow. Give Damo a bit more credit, mate.
Well, no, he's saying he's never gift before. That was his first GIF ever.
Yeah, what you're saying is if Damo can make a GIF, then anyone
can. That's what you're saying.
Oh, okay. All right.
We all remember our first gift.
What are you trying to
say? Jesus, calm down on Damo, buddy. General Tanner Patton has got in contact with us.
Big Gen Dog.
He said, just finished episode 125, Smoke and Mirrors. Lost it at the Malcolm in the Middle joke.
Oh,
jeez.
You're welcome.
Walking my dog at the park and began to laugh like an idiot. Pretty sure nearby joggers thought I was crazy. Great dad joke. I will always support those, Mitch.
Well,
sorry, Brendan.
Pass that on to Mitch.
Yeah. All dads sound alike. It's fine.
Nah, that was Brendan that made that joke. But look, I think it would have been funny if Mitch did.
Why is that?
Because Mitch is funnier than you.
Oh, okay.
But nah, agree with you, Tanner. Well, I mean, I say agree. I don't agree with.
Malcolm in the middle.
I thought it was. I think I actually moaned when you said it. Like, oh god.
Good gear.
Bobby Reedy hit us up on Twitter as part of the tweet I read earlier about.
You better watch out.
Damo getting into Star Trek and
that's got to be at least 4.
Yeah, that's like so many.
Bobby Reedy.
That at least 30.
Bobby Reedy told Damien Edwards just to watch out when he's watching Voyager to steer clear of. There's an Irish episode called Fairhaven.
Yeah.
And Damien says, why? What's so bad about it? And Bobby says, imagine 42 minutes of Maddie saying fiddly potatoes.
Come on, you got to say it.
Fiddly potatoes.
Thank you.
And you'll have basically experienced the Fairhaven episode.
Yeah.
It's good to hear from
42
Bobby.
minutes.
Imagine 42 minutes of me just going, fiddly potatoes. There's a Patreon exclusive. We're just going to cut that and be just going, fiddly potatoes.
It'll get plenty of hits.
Potatoes. Fiddly potatoes.
Probably get more than Gibson Brothers.
It'd be like one
definitely get more than your song about Daniel.
What are those clips? You know,
what are the thoughts, mate?
You see those videos on YouTube when it's like 10 hours of Jeff Goldblum laughing from Jurassic Park, and it's just literally for a whole day. And I'm like, who is making that or watching it?
Poppy, I'm Poppy. Poppy, I'm Poppy, whatever it is. There's one like that goes for hours.
Ridiculous. I mean, power to you if you're making them, but
yeah.
Well, it can't be that hard. You grab a clip, then hold Control V for ages, and then copy all that, and then Control V. Yeah. It wouldn't take too long.
Speaking of the Ode to Daniel, though, I finally rescued all my hard drive from my broken computer.
Oh.
And saved on there, still there, safe and sound, was my Farewell Daniel creation that I made back at the end of Season 5 that we never got to play.
Oh, get it on.
So I might play that in our season rank at the end of the season. Season late, but...
Oh, good.
Yeah, no?
I like it.
I did see Rocket Man during the week. Can confirm the Ode to Daniel is not in the movie or post-credits.
Yeah, don't watch it.
I thought it might have been in the Australian edit, to be honest. I thought it might not crack it in American cinemas. But
well, apparently the Russians cut out 5 minutes for their conservative audience.
Yeah, is that going to be what I was just about to reference? Apparently there's an amazing sex scene between Taron Egerton and Rob Stark.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, they got it on.
Banging.
And the Russians cut it out.
Yeah, they don't like the gay sex.
Yeah. And like, Ricky Bobby, I can't handle all the gayness. Bloody Russians. Gay. Come on, mate. Your president rides around on horseback shirtless with other world leaders. I think you can handle a couple of blokes in love, kissing. Come on, deal with it.
Can't. I'm too straight to be gay. I think that's more South African than Russian.
That's fine.
I thought that's what you're trying for.
Yeah, definitely. Baal.
We've got a tweet here from Weberhead.
Weberhead. Wonder if he likes barbecuing.
Head Weber.
At Head Weber. So obviously he does.
Spelt different.
He's replying to... Well, actually, Mitch might be able to help me out who that is. Do you know who that guy is?
That he's replying to?
Yeah.
Mark Bernardin.
Mark Bernardin. Do you know who Mark Bernardin is?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Replying to one of Mark Bernardin's tweets... Stargaze, I think you mean Stargate, SG1.
Mate, phones will do that
Just
to you.
had a few
They do.
numbers.
They don't even know, do they?
I've never written Stargaze in my phone, yet every time I write Stargate to one of you blokes, it corrects it to Stargaze.
Mine corrects to Star G-A-Y-S, which is unfortunate.
Stargaze.
That's even better.
Stargate. It doesn't. It's just a joke, Mitch. It's just a joke. You were like, why?
I'm actually trying to figure out, what is Android doing?
Yeah.
And why are you putting shit on Apple?
You've Googled that so many times, Stargaze.
Stargaze.
What a show.
Stargaze SG1. And then you can listen to a podcast by a few Aussies that you and at that Kevin Smith would love at Get Into Geek.
That I love me some Kevin Smith, so that is a huge compliment.
That's a huge call as well.
That someone thinks Kevin Smith would enjoy this podcast.
The old fat man on Batman's going to tune in to Get Into Gate one week.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, Mitch?
He does love Stargate, the big Kev dog.
He would.
Mitch,
Who is
remember a couple
No, he
of
does. I know he does.
Old Silent Bob.
Right.
Yeah, like
Who?
one of the king sweaties in the world.
Yeah,
Just watch a movie, mate.
He's now switched off.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, someone said, "Oh, they love the Gibson Brothers podcast, but is there like a
No
Lewis
one's ever
Brothers
said that.
podcast, or
Yeah.
they wanted you and I to do a podcast?"
You and me.
Well, instead of getting drunk, we can just get high and do a podcast. Kevin Smith would definitely listen to that.
Mm.
I mean, I don't have any connections like that.
Are you saying you're going to do drugs to
So-
impress Kevin Smith?
Oh, geez,
I mean,
be
they're
one of the cool kids.
they're legal in America, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of Canada.
Rebellious.
no, marijuana's legal in.
Not all states, mate. Oh, medical marijuana, sure. Aaron Percival has got in contact with us. He's commented on Paradise Lost. And he said, surprised at the lack of love. I've always dug this episode a lot. With the premise being those two alone on a planet, I think it succeeds so well. Does suck we don't actually meet the Furlings, but was still great to tease the lore a little and have them involved in some capacity.
Yeah, look, I liked some bits of it too, per se. Who else?
Eric Fusco has got in contact with us. He says, in Hathor, O'Neill is turned into a Jafar, albeit temporarily. Shouldn't that preclude him from ever becoming a host to a Goa'uld, since Jafar can't become hosts? If the answer is no, because they used the sarcophagus to heal him, then why didn't they ever use the sarcophagus to heal Tilk? But finally, Cooper!
Well, I think they did say that a Jafar can be a host in an earlier one. We went through that.
They said one of each.
Nothing related to Hathor counts ever.
Yeah, I agree.
That's basically what you've
but
got to.
there is a good point with the Tilk thing. I think popping Tilk in a sarcophagus, shouldn't that heal his pouch?
Should heal
and
him,
shit?
yeah, surely.
I guess you have to take the Goa'uld out, but
Which is easy. You just take it out and then
Yeah.
chuck him in a sarcophagus.
yeah,
Great call, Eric.
I like it
We'll email Brad Wright.
big time. Phil Smerezniak got in contact
schmez.
us
Oh, the schmez.
onto Facebook. I know the show is Canadian/American, but I feel strongly that you'll need American version of the titles for around the world. And Phil's put up a few examples here. Emancipation, problematic export of the 19th Amendment. Now, if we knew anything about American
Or any of the amendments.
Declaration of Independence.
If only the amendments were on conversion.com, we'd know what they were talking about.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, we could Google it, but we don't Google anything.
Phil says we could call politics C-SPAN the movie. I mean, these are obviously great American jokes that Australians don't get. Unnatural selection could be Alabama teaches the controversy. Did I read that right?
You did.
Sight unseen, fucking bugs. I get that one.
Yeah.
Get that one.
Good.
Smoke and mirrors. Not today. Deep state.
Keep them coming, Phil.
I mean, Phil,
for
they're
the,
great
For the
for-
American listeners, absolutely. We have
mean,
no f***ing idea what you're
Obviously,
talking about.
Eddie Fusco's pissing himself.
And just so
Can't use any of that.
Holly Corbett doesn't lose their mind, I did Google it. The 19th Amendment of the United States Constitution prohibits the states and federal governments from denying the right to vote to citizens of the United States on the basis of sex. So the 19th Amendment has to do with letting women vote. So that's the connection to
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's so far down.
They'll stop reading it.
Was
12.
it?
I mean, guns were 2.
They got to...
I didn't make it up.
No, a bunch of old white men did a few hundred
Yeah,
years ago.
I mean, I'm not sure how the 19th Amendment, relates to, ancient Mongolians, but,
Yeah. Emancipation, I think.
Well, it's American.
The
It's
emancipation.
the American version of the...
A big shout out to Sarah Bell, one of our OGs. She's been there for pretty much, since the very beginning. Just had her second child, a second little girl
congratulations.
along. So we saw that on Twitter this week. So big congrats there.
Eloise.
Eloise
Second
Rachel.
child, no big deal.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, no one cares about
no one
the
cares
second
about
one.
the second child.
No, usually not.
It's only
Yeah,
the first.
not even the second child cares about the second child.
Even the second child knows, we know where it all ended.
Wish I was adopted.
Matt Cormick spreading the love of Get Into Gate. Some chick on Twitter says, any recommendations for podcasts to listen to on my way to work? Matt Cormack's jumped in at Get Into Gate. podcast is legendary.
So I'd get into great.
I should have. If I didn't, I'm disappointed.
Matt Cormack, another one of the OGs.
Absolutely.
Legendary.
Now, I just put this in. This is one of my mailbag entries to Rhys. I did notice watching the episode a couple of weeks ago, in the title credits, opening title credits for season 6, we actually see Amanda Tapping opening the iris with the palm scanner.
Yeah, which is a scene from episode 1, Redemption of season 6.
And you said you've never seen it before a couple of weeks ago, but clearly you have seen it every episode this season so far.
In the first 50 seconds of Redemption, you see Walter putting his hand on the thing to open the iris.
I was with Rhys. I would never been able to have told you that I'd seen it before, and then since you put that in our chat, and then I watched this week's episode, and I'm like, I'm never not going to see that.
Me too.
Again.
Me too. I never really watched the intro, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's just on.
Yeah, because
I've got 40 seconds to go get a drink.
Don't they press that, and then there's a shot of like a ship going through a thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Space thing
through the hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive. There
Couldn't
you go.
tell you.
I didn't have.
I just know. I've got about 43 seconds to rub one out.
Oh God, yeah.
It's a challenge.
It's like
that
you
I set
got to get,
myself.
and then you see Tilk, and you're like, boom,
straight away, boom, 21 seconds. Record. Norwal Music has commented on one of our YouTube videos. Now, I'm pretty sure this might be one of those spam ones that just goes to every
probably
every,
so I'm glad we
video.
included it.
Yeah, absolutely. It says super entertaining. He left 467 comments that day, actually.
And never subscribed.
And we love spam, though.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just mainly
look, it's
just an ad for the YouTubes.
That's what that German horse guy was. Just
yeah,
hate spam.
just spam. These guys haven't got a 1-star review yet. What the?
Anthony Miller Crawler, hit us up on the Facebooks. Oh my God, this podcast is amazing. To have finally caught up to Paradise Lost and to keep busy between the next one, I am starting from the beginning again.
Oh, wow.
I do like the challenges. People go, oh man, 7 days is such a long time. I'm going to go back and listen to 135 episodes all over again. It's like, how much time have you got over the next week? And I love that you.
Absolutely.
I love that you do. The boys who host this are genius. Well,
stop.
Well, mainly me.
Some more than others.
Yeah, we all agree.
Yeah. And make each episode even more special the way they go through it. But also love the tangents they go on. Thank Christ, because we do go on to tangents.
You should hear the ones we cut out.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, you should now.
And think the ones
They're
you hear
so
are
loose.
the ones that made the cut. Does not feel like a podcast, but more like listening with a group of mates reminisce about their youth. Well, we kind of are still young a little
excellent.
bit.
Glad someone enjoys it.
Maddie doesn't.
Hashtag Carmel Chats. Would recommend to anyone as not just the best Stargate podcast, but for sheer fun and enjoyment, it's one of the best in the, or should I say, around the world.
Bit of Daft Punk again. Crank that.
There we go.
Boom.
It is extra work.
Control V. Oh, there it is.
Noah Tovson has got in contact with us at QWERTY_gate. At Get Into Gate, re-listening to the best podcast while at work. You guys somehow always manage to crack a joke right when I take a drink. My computer monitor does not appreciate it.
Oh, big shout out to your engineers at work.
so great.
Absolutely. That's work's problem, Noah, not yours, mate.
Shout out to Dell
Fuck
if
'em.
they want to sponsor the show.
Great people.
Oh, get in contact.
Jump on board.
At getintogate.com.
Whatever happened to IBM? Just looking at this lovely piece of
They still
technology.
make stuff, don't they?
Someone bought them out.
Yeah,
Don't they make
I haven't seen them for yonks.
They're going into space.
They make
stuff,
inside
yeah.
stuff now, don't they?
Not since we had those
Oh, no,
like,
that's
computer
Intel.
monitors
Inside
at school that we worked
balls, man.
on. Big like tube
Oh, the big white-
monitors. And the on button was like a big press in click situation. That was an IBM. You'd click it.
One of the OGs.
You'd hear the motor kick in. Bloody hell.
It'd take time to warm up.
Yeah. Now my kids look at my phone and go, oh, why isn't it loading quick enough? I'm like, shut the up, mate. You have no idea.
I will fucking end you.
Back in my day.
Yeah, I tell my kids all the time, I never even had an iPad when I was a kid. Oh, why not?
Couldn't afford one.
Yeah, well, I reckon that's what they're thinking. When Nanny pop up that POV, Yeah.
Yes, but also they weren't invented yet.
Yeah. Shitheads.
It's time to find out if Rhys has been paying attention.
Nah.
All right. Now, because this is a clip show,
you're going to ask me what episodes did they play?
Are actually redemption questions from the clips. So questions you got wrong in the episodes that the clips were from.
Hands up if you believe.
I mean,
Brendan
one of
did that
these
amount of research.
Well, I think we all know.
It was actually easier for him because he could just go back through his book and look at the questions that he'd already written.
I didn't go. This is like my 5th book. I don't have books. I went through the podcast.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It was.
Should you have just written new questions?
It was fucking impossible to come up with new questions. Who came in the last 30 seconds of the episode?
I did.
That was a good setup.
You're
welcome. All punchlines, guys.
Your kids have been singing Wizard all week. The truth is that you actually had them doing the research. It's like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
You're watching the episode, Bella, where the sun gets blown up. Yeah. Get me a question that Rhys got wrong. You listen to that podcast.
Jack, head to conversion.com.
Yeah. God, yeah. All right. 30 seconds. 5 questions. Time starts after this first one. Before his return to power, how long was Anubis in exile for?
Jesus. 10,000 years.
Incorrect. What was the mission code name for the X-301?
Digger.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Digger 1. Which culture's mythology does Prometheus come from?
Greek.
Correct. In Touchstone, what did the military do with the second gate?
Pass.
In a matter of time, what caused a wormhole to go longer than 38 minutes?
Black hole.
Correct. But I think the clock beat you there. So, for those playing along at home, Anubis was in exile for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
You got that wrong twice.
I thought you got it right the first time.
No, he didn't.
Oh, well, there you go.
Stupid.
No, I think I said the first time I said 10 million years or something.
Yeah, something so dumb. What was the mission code for the Digger? It was Digger 1. X-301 was Digger 1. It was
I did fucking well to remember
that was great.
shit.
What did in Touchstone the military welded an iris on the second gate, and you ran out of time there for the black hole, but you did say it. Not gonna give it to you.
Your father made you wrong.
Well,
you stupid son of a bitch.
Oh, you might get 5 out of 5 next week, mate.
Yeah.
All right, that is episode 128 of Get Into Gate. Next week, we are coming back to talk about Forsaken. It's all happening. Go check out all of our old podcasts. As many of our listeners from our mailbag say they are doing. If you are new to the show, there's plenty more for you to discover. Just hit us up, Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast on your favourite podcasting outlet. Search the same on the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Instagram. Click like, subscribe, share, all that sort of stuff. Stay involved with the show. Send us a long form chat, getintogate@gmail.com.
Look, guys, jump onto YouTube as well if you want. Subscribe and shit. That'll be good.
That's good.
And full disclosure, get onto Patreon.
Yeah, big time.
.com/getintogate.
Love it.
Just get on.
If you want the serpent's venom, then go to Patreon, Get Into Gate.
If you want to be a visitor, huh? Like the Wizard song.
Individually, Mitch_Lewis is where you find me on Twitter and Instagram. Matty.
At High-Pitch Matty.
Brendan.
I'm at the Bren Gibson.
And Rhys.
At the Flying Gibson.
And to those of us on the right side of that border, including our mate Damo Edwards, who is south of the border but supports the right team, good luck and have fun watching State of Origin 2 tonight. That's all our rugby league fans that are out there tonight. But State of Origin 2.
We need to get out of here. I need to get home and watch it.
Oh,
Go the Blues.
Oh, God, can't
Go
wait.
the Blues.
I'm
not confident.
It's going to be
Go the Blues.
such a good decider, Mitch.
What I thought was fun is for game 1, you guys are obviously all either at the game or watching the game or whatever, and I sent you guys a video in a group chat of me at home reading a book.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what show are you actually rewatching tonight instead of watching the Origin, but there you go.
Reading How to Forget by Kate Mulgrew. Star of Star Trek Voyager! Yes!
The line has to be drawn here. This far and no further.
Get Into Geek.
I am Thor, the mighty gods, the Lord of rain and storm. Now build a fire for feast it shall be warm. I am Thor, the mighty gods, the Lord of rain and storm. Now build a fire, for feast it shall be warm. I am Thor, the mighty